Hello, I'm Dr. Beth Godey.
And I'm Dr. Martha Leatherman. I'm a geriatric specialist in psychiatry.
And I'm a neuropsychologist, and I specialize in aging.
We're experts in dementia care, and we're here to provide you some information and answer some questions that we hear very commonly about dementia and other issues in aging.
One of the most common questions we get is, how can I find help in taking care of my loved one who has dementia? And usually people will ask their doctors first because they think maybe Medicare services are available for home care for those with dementia.
They've heard of home health, and it is an industry, and it has services that are paid for by Medicare. And so that's obvious place for people to start, and they ask their physicians. The problem is that home health really has a very strict set of guidelines as to what it can cover and what Medicare can pay for in that coverage. So if there are actual health needs, some of those things can be covered for a circumscribed period of time and with a doctor's order. But if you need just general assistance or somebody in the house to keep an eye on things so that you can go to the grocery store or that you can go to the doctor, that kind of thing, home health is not something that will cover that.
In fact, Medicare doesn't cover any types of services that are what they call custodial, meaning staying at home and making sure things are safe, or cooking or cleaning or driving people around.
Routine day-to-day living.
Right. So the next thing that people think of is, well, if it's not paid for by Medicare or some other way, what's the least expensive way we can get some help? And so they immediately think, well, I could just ask around or place an ad in the paper.
Look in the want ads, look on some of the lists of available employment agencies and that kind of thing. The problem with that, there are a few problems with that. You can go word of mouth. You might have talked to somebody who said, I had great luck with so-and-so who came in and took care of my mom. But the people that work in that way are usually not trained. They don't have any backup if something should happen, if their car breaks down or they get sick. There's not an agency backing them up, and you may be left in the lurch with somebody not there and you're expecting them.
So the safest way to go in terms of that kind of care is to go with an agency, because then the caregivers are bonded and they carry their own insurance and they have some training, and but most of all, you have a coordinator of services so that if they don't show up, you're not stuck there and without any help that you were expecting. The other thing that happens, and another reason why it's important to have an agency with some supervision, is that caregivers really get attached to the people they take care of, and they become it's a personal care, and
there's a relationship, an important relationship that develops.
Important relationship, and that can lead sometimes, however, into an exploitative kind of relationship. Oh, my daughter's having surgery and we don't have the $1,000 to pay for it, and pretty soon there's some exploitation that may go on.
We've been involved, sadly, in terrible lawsuits where a caregiver has exploited an elder to the point that wills have been changed, that an elder might buy houses and cars for a caregiver, and you don't have much protection if you go with an individual caregiver. against that sort of thing. And you want there to be a relationship between the person receiving care and the caregiver, and you want it to be a good relationship. But you have to make sure that you have somebody of the highest ethical standards as well.
That's true. Some people will have long-term care insurance, which may cover a portion of the cost of home caregiving. And in that case, if you do have long-term care insurance, you really need to check with the policy and the company to get some guidance about what options are available to you.
Each long-term care insurance policy is different, and you do need to read the fine print and have it explained to you so that you understand exactly what they will cover. Before you start any ongoing caregiving relationship, whether it's with an agency or any other way that you decide, make sure that you have your documents all in order ahead of time. Your power of attorney, your financial power of attorney, your health care power of attorney, so that whoever is helping with the caregiving knows exactly who is making the medical decisions. That also gives you a level of control
actually,
over how things go. Be sure and interview the person, spend time with them, ask them if they've had experience dealing with the kinds of problems you're having with your loved one. Is it somebody who doesn't like to take a bath, or have they had experience sitting with somebody who's very passive, and you've got a very active loved one.
Right. It will take some patience and perseverance to find just the right situation, and some compromise as well at times. But the more you get in order and the more control you have up front, the easier it will be in the long run.
I think the last thing to say is that even if you can't ever imagine that you're going to have a caregiver come into your home and help with caregiving, set that up and plan it anyway. You don't have to start it, but look at all the options, because if you wait until there's a crisis, if you wait until you have to have somebody to figure out what your long-term care insurance covers, who the agencies are around you, who has availability, how much it costs, then you're going to be stuck scrambling and you're not going to get the care that you would ideally like. Whereas if you have it set up ahead of time, then you can just start it if that crisis happens.
So don't panic, plan ahead.
That's right.
See you next time.
For more answers to questions like these, our book, The Insider's Guide to Dementia Care, is available at Amazon.com.